Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of our new live show, BrickTier. This one's going to be a little different than on Mock Hour. Rather than sharing your creations, we're actually going to be reviewing LEGO Classic Space, and it'll be different themes for other future shows. We're going to be ranking them into a tier. Before we begin, I'm going to add in my co-host, who you might know from the server. Hello.
I am Professor Goat, one of the world's foremost experts on transdimensional anthropology. How are you, King John Brick?
I'm doing fine. Just fine. We have an expert here of us.
I
We
must
can
say
keep
it is
that.
a pleasure to finally be speaking with you. Well, I haven't actually been in the presence of royalty since I was ejected from the Elbonian court over a perceived slight over their canine deity.
Oh,
Um,
wow. That sounds like
what?
quite a story.
I'd rather not get into that right now. Well, it's not important. What region did you say you presided over again?
What was that?
What region did you preside over as a king? Where's your kingdom?
The Brick Kingdom, I believe it's called.
Do you at least have a castle?
Um, I do. It's a little small for me to fit in, but I have one. I'm working on it. It'll get big enough one day.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, Your Majesty. Okay, so let's go over our characters. The way I define this is from the golden age of Lego Space, which is the early 80s to the mid to late 90s. So we have all of the yellow-faced figures through that era. I left out some of the later figures from the UFO line and the insectoids because the style somewhat changed at that point.
Sounds good.
So
You had
I'll
a
just,
question, by the way.
yes.
Were you in the Beyond the Brick show? Brooks Danger asks.
Uh, yes, I made a special appearance there on the Nexus Temple video.
Oh, awesome! You got a fan following you over from there.
I'm glad you saw that video. Beyond the Brick is a pretty fantastic channel,
Your reputation precedes you, it seems.
ostensibly.
Awesome. So you ready to get started with the first one and see where we're gonna rank it?
Indeed. Now, the first 5 figures are all part of the first wave of Classic Space. The blue one represents security. The black one represents spies. Red represents pilots. Yellow represents scientists. And white represents explorers. So each one has a slightly different role, slightly different color scheme so they can identify one another. So what we're going to do is we're going to have chat suggest what they think we'll have chat suggest what they think each one should be ranked from S plus to S, A, B, C, D, and F minus. And that's basically it. And us judges, will have the final to say whether it is for which rank. Does that sound fair?
Sounds good to me. You got more fans in the audience, by the way.
That's my
Seamless.
assistant, Lay.
Oh, awesome. And somebody asked if you have Discord. Yes, he's Briggs on the Club Brick server, and a few other ones you might have seen him in.
I'm a fan.
Awesome. So we're gonna post a poll. Just ask the chat. You think?
I'll post a poll in the YouTube chat once we go over this. So first up, we have the blue Classic Spaceman. So I will send that link in chat right now.
Yeah. So you guys answer this poll and tell us where you think you should be ranked, from F minus all the way up to S plus. We'll place them in the tier. I tried to bring in Buff Babe, not for today's show.
Bring in Buff Babe. Who said that?
Professor Gott was the star of the show.
Who said bring in Buff Babe?
That was I tried.
I couldn't allow another guest.
I'll come in and say hi.
2 is enough. You'll see her in Mock Hour again. You can wave for hi real quick though. All right, guest appearance.
Hi everyone.
And look at that. The viewers jumped up by 1 as you did that.
Also, I'm really excited
Alright.
that you're doing space because I used to work for a space place. So I think it's really cool. And I really wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. I know that's a lame ass fact, but fun fact about me.
Your fun fact brought 2 more viewers, so thank you for that. Awesome. Did you post a link to the poll yet, or?
Yes, I'm not sure it is working correctly.
I didn't see it appear in my view of the chat, but I see the StreamYard view. Do you want to send me the link
It
and I'll
is.
post it too?
Sure.
It'll get highlighted more if I
One
post
moment.
it as on me. Either on Discord or the private chat, I can post it.
Here we are.
See. Okay, so if anyone didn't get the link, I'm not sure why I didn't see it. Here's the link now, so vote and tell us where you think it should go.
Now, with the blue spaceman in particular, I believe we're all thinking of Benny from that documentary, The Lego Movie, one of my favorite documentaries of all time. And I think for that reason, this one will have a special place above the rest, especially since the blue and yellow color scheme matches the blue, gray, and trans yellow cockpits that appeared on all the classic space sets
Well, that's
through the
true,
mid
yeah.
80s.
It matches.
So that'll probably bump this character up at least a couple ranks over the others.
Definitely, yeah. Although I think Benny's official figure has like the crack talent, making him a little bit different, but
Let's see if
Yeah.
we've had any results. We
stick with the
have
poll.
S plus, B,
Do we
and
want to share the
A.
poll screen, or?
We could do that. One moment.
I could probably go to around mine, so you don't have to go back. Okay, that works. Okay,
Sounds good.
whatever's easier for you.
Just take over on yours.
Poll. Okay. I have to vote. I'll give him a vote there. And sorry, let me just share my screen of that one. Share screen of that tab. This is more complicated. Chrome tab of the poll. And we'll see where we're at. And I'll add it. Okay. So that's where we're at so far. Let me refresh it one more time. Oh, it changed again. We got a tie right now between S plus and B.
For B for Benny.
B for Benny. That makes sense. Total vote 7.
I believe it should be at least A, probably S for classic space.
Let's see. I think so as well, because Benny is like choosing as representative for all the classic space.
That is my feeling as well.
How do I get back to? There we are.
So if there is no dispute, I will move the blue spaceman to the S rank.
It sounds good. I agree.
All right.
The audience seems to agree that he's pretty high up.
Next, we have the black spaceman to represent the spy faction. And I believe my personal thoughts is the color scheme is very cool. The yellow is very striking against the black uniform, and the yellow head sticks out very well.
Definitely.
So I will post the poll for that one.
So everyone vote now on the black figure from Classic Space. Let's see. Do you want to send the link in on the either Discord to me or on the, oh, you did already. Awesome. There's also a private chat and StreamYard. You can send it to me, whatever's easier. So here, everyone, is the poll for that. I wonder if it'd be a good idea too. Can we drag the figure off to the side to like a voting on now thing? People can see. Yeah, that's the one or it doesn't let us.
No, it won't hold there.
All right.
We'll just go to the top left. We'll just go from left to right.
You have another question. Professor Gott, are you the next generation of Professor Dumbledore?
Professor Dumbledore is more of a specialist in magic. I prefer some things that are more concrete and observable. And what better to do that than Lego?
Sounds good to me. Are you the next Dr. Doofenshmirtz? Asked Frixmania.
I'd like to think I'm a few levels above that, but
Definitely.
I have admired some of his work. He has his own flaws.
I'm going to take a look at the poll and see where we're at. Let me give him a rank myself. I'll put him at there. And now I'm going to share my screen so you can see where the poll's at. Is this the right one? Black Classic Spaceman. Here's where we're at so far.
S, A, and C.
Give it one more refresh. Anyone else get a last minute vote in? So that seems to suggest, I would say it's pretty close to averaging to A because the two S's and the one C kind of average out to an A.
I agree. A seems perfectly fair.
A little bit below, not quite in the rank of the blue one, but still high up there.
All right. The next we have is the red classic spaceman. He represents the pilot group. So they'll be seen flying the classic spaceships across the galaxy. And it has a very classical style. The red uniform, yellow face, gold emblem. I think this one is a solid A as well.
I agree. Yeah, definitely it goes good with the color scheme across space. Not quite as matching as the blue one, but I put them on par of the black one. Awesome. So get the next link for that one. Awesome. Did you send me a link for that straw poll?
I have.
There we go. So here, everyone, is the straw poll for the red one, which I will post in chat now. We had another question. Do you have Professor Dumbledore's Elder Wand?
I'm afraid not. I believe Lei has some magic paraphernalia, but I'm not into the occult myself.
A man of science, strictly, none of the paranormal. I actually used to have a carved Elder Wand my brother made for me, like whittled out of wood. That was kind of cool.
That is
It
very
wasn't
curious.
it wasn't very well protected. It wasn't like varnished or anything, so the wood got kind of gross after a while. We had to get rid of it, but it was cool for a while. Awesome. Let me take a look at people are voting on for that. Black Classic Spaceman. Oh, wrong one. We have to go to the new one. And Red Classic Spaceman. Where's my screen? Phone tab, Red Classic Spaceman, and here we go. I gotta give my vote. I think he's right up there. I was saying he was an A. And where are we at? Seems like people are agreeing it's an A.
All right, I will move the red spaceman up to A. Next, we have the yellow spaceman, who is, of course, a scientist. Now, this is clearly the most important group in any LEGO space theme. The scientists do all the heavy lifting. They develop all the new technology. So they build all of the classic spaceships that look so cool. So I think we're looking at our first S+.
That could be.
Not to influence the poll. That is just my opinion.
And it's not quite as common to see yellow figures as well in general because it's like a skin tone for Lego. I don't think it looks bad at all. But
it matches the skin. It has a kind of gold quality to it. It meshes the logo perfectly. It is the perfect uniform.
I agree, definitely. So let's get that poll up. We'll see what people think of the yellow one. Just taking a look at chat quick. There we go. Oh, how do I fix this? Did you send me the link to the yellow poll? Oh, there we go. Fresh, and then poll on screen for yellow classic spaceman. And I think I'm in. Oh, something's wrong with the poll. Are you seeing this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I see nothing wrong with this. Perfectly even poll.
I believe we may be looking at our first unanimous result.
Wow, look at that. Everyone's in agreement. S plus on this one. Professor Gott is known throughout the land for his fairness.
S plus for the yellow classic spaceman. And let's get the rest of those votes in. Make sure everyone is still in consensus.
Any more votes?
It appears we have a comment. Professor Goat, does that mean that we could infer that the yellow spaceman is wearing skin? That is an interesting hypothesis. However, given how yellow appears in other color to signify other things throughout this time period, I don't believe that is a fair inference. However, it is a very interesting hypothesis.
Although you could probably take the leg pieces and arm pieces and put them on a minifigure if you want to imply that he's not wearing anything.
Finally, we have the white classic spaceman. Let's see the results again first before we move on.
I think I actually didn't post the yellow one, so I'll give people a chance to vote on that.
That's very important. We want everyone to have their input to make sure this is a perfectly balanced and informed poll.
Everyone has a chance to vote in this, and we take everyone's opinion seriously, so give your vote on the yellow figure. Look at that. It's unanimous so far. Everyone thinks S plus.
That's astonishing.
I think we're all in agreement.
I concur.
We pride ourselves in fair ballots.
I've already moved the yellow classic spaceman up to the S plus rank, all above the rest, and we are ready to proceed to the next figure, which is the yellow classic spaceman, which represents security.
The white one, you mean there?
The white one, which represents exploration. Now, this one is a very important one as well. It has a white uniform, very reminiscent of the real world Apollo spacesuits worn in the late 60s by the American astronauts. So I believe this one is at least an A, but no more than an S. What do you think?
This is a tricky one because I think he'd be a step up above A because of like you said, representing real life space, but I don't think he's quite in the same tier as blue. So that's going to be a close one, saying if he's an A or an S. So I might defer to the audience a bit on this one, see what they think.
Very well.
Awesome.
I have no strong opinions about this one. However, I do believe it has a very important part in informing our first S plus, the yellow spaceman. If it wasn't for the work of the white spaceman, we wouldn't have as much information about the world as we do today.
Very true. We have a question in the chat too. Professor Gott, where did you get your degree? Asked Mr. Possum here.
I got my degree in what was it? I got my first degree in the Colorado Institute. After that, I moved over to the Bradford Rant Institute, where I spent time tutoring under Professor Dutchendorf.
Wow, German name.
It is. He's a very prestigious scholar in the area of transdimensional anthropology as well as multidimensional theory. He's a brilliant and tragically misunderstood genius.
Definitely, and I'm sure all that education prepared you for today.
It has, in more ways than I can imagine.
Let's see what people think in the poll so far for White Classic Spaceman. Take a refresh. And we seem to be agreeing from S to S plus, one vote for A, And we both, I think both you and I were considering A to S. So I think that averages about a solid S.
Yeah, it does put it with a blue spaceman, but it is definitely not an S plus. It is definitely not on the rank of the yellow scientist spaceman. Just to be clear.
Definitely.
Okay,
So
I'm glad we have an agreement. Yellow, white spaceman goes to S.
Awesome. Welcome, Nerf Boy. Thanks for joining us. Nerf Boy, you guys might remember, is usually one of my common co-hosts for the mock hour we have on Friday nights.
I am acquainted with that show. I have been known to tune in from time to time.
We're honored to have you in the audience.
Next, we have the next series of classic of space, which is the Futuron. They are sort of the next generation of the classic space. They have more polished uniforms with a sideways zipper, and they are they explore much farther than the other ships. They have a much more varied color scheme, generally white with they have a white color scheme with blue transparent pieces, which you see on the visors.
Yes, Red Dragon, you can vote once. I think it only let you vote once anyway. You can vote once for each figure. And does the colors represent the same thing as the first line?
Sorry?
The colors of blue, black, red, and yellow, do they represent the same as they did in the other ones?
I was about to get to that. Now the colors are changed slightly in this series because instead of representing security, blue now represents exploration in the Futuron series. White represents security in the first wave of the Space Police, which was also released in 1987.
Awesome.
All right.
You get the link to vote on that one for the first of those, the blue one again.
One moment.
Some made a comparison between Dutchendorf and Dumbledore. They are pretty similar names.
They are nothing alike. Dumbledore is respectable for his area, but Professor Dutchendorf is a step above any other professor.
Oh, wow. Everything you know.
Just to clarify the extent to his standards, I was the only person who qualified to meet his standards as a pupil. No, it's not my fault. Nobody else met the bar to entry.
Share the vote link. And let's take a look at the poll. One vote in, let's refresh. Where's the refresh? I'll just do that. Still one vote. Sorry about that, I hit the wrong one. Let me share screen for the poll and see where we're at. For Futuron Blue Astronaut. Is that up on screen?
Hey?
Anyone else want to give a vote? Oh, there we go. There's a couple votes.
I'm personally torn between this because the blue is not nearly as iconic in the Futuron series. Because it has the blue visor, it doesn't have as much contrast. So I believe somewhere between A and C is fair.
Definitely, yeah. My thinking was it'd be maybe just one peg below the last blue one. At least maybe. Between A and C, you're saying B. I'm putting it more towards A, so I guess we're averaging out somewhere between A and B.
I suppose that's fair, yes.
And we'll see what the audience thinks one more time. Anyone else want to get a last minute vote in? We got 3 votes in there so far. Okay, the audience lean more heavily towards A than C.
Very well. The people have spoken.
Awesome, so we put them in the A ranks, next to the original red and black figures.
All
Look at
right.
this nice little staircase we got going.
Next, we have the black Futron astronaut, which still represents the spy group within the space organization. How, personally, I believe this is a very striking figure. The trans blue visor looks very good on the black, and the contrast between the black and the white on the body looks absolutely phenomenal. However, it is somewhat distracting if you're trying to be a spy to have a uniform like that, because all the different colors do attract attention to you.
Definitely, yeah. I think you'd want to be one solid color if you're a spy, try to blend in, especially if you can be like ninja-like, you want to be like all in black.
So as a practical uniform, I do not believe it is great. However, as a style statement, I believe this is one of the best figures in all of space.
So it could be if like he was a real spy, his dress uniform, and he gets his award for his service, he'll wear that.
Perhaps he has other undercover uniforms available. So anything is at the disposal of a Futron spy. So I suppose that is a valid interpretation.
You get the link for that one so I can let people vote?
I have already done so.
Let me check if I have it. Is this it here? Oh, there we go. Futron Black. Let me share the link in the chat. You guys can vote. And we'll see what you guys think. Link is up now. And then I'll share the results in just a moment when the votes come in. Everyone cast your vote now on Futron Black. And let's take a look at the results so far. We got 3 votes for A, 1 for S+. Wow, somebody really loved this one.
It is indeed a very cool figure.
Someone else said B. Someone didn't think it was quite as high, so that weighs it down a little bit closer to A.
The average is A. I believe that is fair for this figure.
Awesome, so you get another A. You made me to vote S+, says Red Dragon Plays. I guess you made him sound so cool and bumped him up.
I cannot disagree that it is a very intimidating uniform.
Awesome, so you earned his rank in A. So we actually ranked the 2 black ones evenly. That's interesting.
Next, we have the red Futron astronaut, who is still a pilot and has, I feel like the gold and yellow look very striking against one another. It has an almost regal feel to it. And I believe this is a very solid contender as well. However, I feel like the white detracts somewhat from the style overall.
I think so, yeah. I put him like maybe a peg below the black one, so I might have him as like a B.
I agree. B is more than fair for the rank of a pilot.
Awesome. And do I have the link for this one yet? There we go. So I'll give you guys the link now, so you can vote on the red Futron. I'll put my vote in there. And here we go. And Professor, are you putting your vote as well on the poll, or just saying it out loud?
No, it wouldn't be appropriate.
That's understandable. Let's see. Let me share the poll after I refresh it. Everyone give your vote now for the red Futron. Awesome. There's a vote. Everyone else got their votes in. 2 votes in for B, 1 for C.
I
Another vote in for
suppose it
B.
is. He is, after all, a red shirt. So C is more than a reasonable assessment. Green actually wasn't introduced until the second generation of the Space Police, which we will get to after a few more characters.
Awesome. I know I was sorry to hear that, Nerf Boy. I'm glad you could join us today, though. I'll refresh one more time, see where we're at. Still 3 Bs, 1 C. So it seems like the audience's agreement should be a solid B.
Very well. I shall move the red Futuron astronaut to the B rank.
We're starting to form a little pyramid here.
Next, we have I believe we may have a second S+. We have the yellow Futuron. We have the yellow Futuron astronaut. This one is probably between an S+ and an S. I can't quite decide. I'm leaning towards S+ because even then, these scientists are working with even more advanced technology than the classic space era did.
That's true.
The level of intellect they must have to be able to handle all this different technology, all the new parts that were being developed, has to be considerably greater. Therefore, even if I believe that the uniform is not as strong, the colors don't pop as much, I believe from sheer practicality, we have to give this character an S+ just by his contributions to science.
I definitely agree, and I think the design is just as cool as the classic yellow one, in my opinion.
I slightly disagree.
However, it's a little bit not as good.
It is slightly less cool. However, the intellect of these scientists offsets whatever drawbacks the uniforms have. The scientists don't actually create the uniforms; they just wear them. So
that makes sense. Awesome. Do I have the link to that one? And I'll give it a post. There you go. I'll get my vote in there, and then I'll share it in chat. Let's just post it first. Everyone give your vote now. The yellow Futuron astronaut. Let's see what you did.
What's so funny?
Nothing at all. I'm just dazzled by how fair our balloting is.
Let me know when those results get in. I believe we'll have a unanimous vote. I don't believe how anyone can disagree on this.
Oh, there's literally no way to disagree. Just
I mean, my arguments are indisputable.
Clearly, everyone seems to agree. I don't see any dissent in the audience. Everyone just thinks what you say is true.
They appear to have different perspectives on how or why this is an S+. However, we're all in agreement that it is an S+.
Definitely. Awesome, awesome. So I think we're safe to say after one more refresh, this should be an S+.
Very well.
Nerf Boy, what are you implying? There's no trick here. Perfectly fair. You dare to insult the credentials of the professor?
I would never rig a poll. That would go against my scientific integrity, and that is something I value very highly.
That's right, Possum. No tricks, only perfection.
I could not agree more. That is all that scientists is about.
Well, Nerf Boy, it only looks like all have S+ because everyone's in agreement.
Exactly, precisely.
Awesome. I'm going to take one more look to see if anything's changed, just to be fair to the audience, because there's some opinions. No, still fair to me. Everyone seems to agree.
Very well. Next, we have the first generation of the Space Police. Now, these have a very similar uniform to the others. It's very similar to the Spy faction. However, they have white boots and a the first ever trans red visor. The trans red also appears in other Space Police 1 sets as part of their color scheme. It also incorporates black and blue. So I feel like this figure is Probably, and I feel like this character is so iconic, it's probably at least an A, maybe an S.
I guess it comes down to comparing it to the other black one there. Is the visor an improvement or not? So that's the main difference.
Not only that, the visor does match the yellow stripe on the emblem, the red stripe on the emblem. It also has, I feel like it's a much more intimidating, similar to the policemen of our world. They have black and white cop cars. So this is equally striking, and this will strike fear into the hearts of the enemies they encounter.
Definitely. So
I will post the poll.
awesome. Everyone give your votes now. I will give mine as well. For a Space Police Generation 1. Let's take a look so far. Where are we voting? 1A, 1B? We'll get your votes in now.
I'm surprised there's no S's for how iconic the first Space Police are. However, their ships are more iconic than the uniforms because they do match with all the other Futuron sets.
There we go. We got 3 for A now, so people are giving a little more favorably.
All right. I feel that most people in our audience, as they are in the younger side, will have a most affinity for the third generation of Space Police, which we do not count as part of the golden era of the space, of LEGO space.
However, we S in there.
However, we will review the modern space sets, the modern space figures at a later time.
Yes, today we're focusing on just the older ones for the Golden Age. So some of the younger viewers might not know these ones, but you can still appreciate them. This is the forefathers to the figures you see today, the pioneers. One more refresh, and with final results, this seems to be leaning towards A, averaged out.
I believe that's fair. Yes.
Although we have a dissenter in the audience saying a B.
That's a respectable opinion, I suppose. Even if S is my personal preference, I have to go with the majority in this case.
Definitely fair.
Next, we have the first generation of the Blacktron. Now, the Blacktron was the first villainous faction. It had the first ever black visors. They have a black jumpsuit, and they have a very striking appearance with white and black. With their visors down, they're very impersonal, very threatening. Their ships have a black and trans yellow style. So it's a perfect contrast to classic space and the Futuron, and the white of the Futuron. So I believe this one is easily an S for how iconic it is, how striking their vehicles, how much style these figures have on the battlefield.
Definitely. And the Blacktron is still popular today. I see people buying merchandise, fan-made of it, stickers, T-shirts.
Yes, they've appeared also in the latest. They've appeared in some of the classic, in the third generation of the Space Police, and one of the aliens is wearing a modified Blacktron 1 uniform. It has also appeared in some of the collectible minifigures in a bounty hunter figure who is affiliated with the Blacktron, and a Blacktron robot, which was in one of the much earlier waves.
So a lot of the legacy came from this one. This is the original.
There was also something called a Space Pirate. I believe it was in the third collectible figure wave, but it was more based on the second generation of the Blacktron than the first. So I have opened up the polls, so I'll let you pass that along.
Yep, everyone give you a vote now on Blacktron Generation 1. The forefather of all the Blacktron figures. And the link is now in the chat. Now we'll cast my vote. Wait for you guys to get yours in. What do you guys think? Do you agree with the professor of how high it should be? Up near the S and S plus, right?
I wouldn't go as far to say as it's an S plus, but it
You'd
is.
say S.
It's very close. It is an S,
Very
absolutely.
close. So upper levels of the S, not quite S plus. And let's take a look at the results so far. Audience seems to be averaged out an S, a little bit above it, a little below it. Most people right in the middle on S. One more refresh. Any new votes coming in? And looks like it's holding steady at S.
Very well. The Blacktron is our third S.
Awesome.
Next, we have the Mtron astronaut. Now, the Mtron is the next. It's one of the most distinct of all the LEGO space figures because they use magnets. All their different sets and technology use magnets in some way or another to help pull other vehicles, to help mine crystals out of the ground, to help extract things, to help them levitate their vehicles. So they have a very coherent style. They're the first figures to have trans neon green visors. So they have a very striking appearance as well. It looks very good against their red torsos and white arms. So I believe we're looking at a very strong A, if not an S as well.
I think I'm in agreement with that. I love the neon visors. You can see through them and they give like a nice tint to the minifigure head. Awesome. So let's get that poll up and see what people think. Are they in agreement? This is a new one, new link in the chat. Let me check. Here's the link to vote on the Mtron. Everyone cast your vote now. Jane believes it should be an S plus.
I agree that is close to an S plus, but not quite an S plus. It's hard for me to agree with Lei, but I have to dispute her slightly in this case. Let's see what the polls say.
First, you got two people saying S plus, one saying A, and one saying C. Bring down the votes a little bit.
That'll still average out to S. So
I agree. Yeah,
it's a very the Mtron is a very strong contender because of their intellectual background, the way they use magnet in such imaginative ways. They are as close to an S plus. So we're going to put them in front of the. We're going to put this in front of the Blue Spaceman as the greatest of the S's.
awesome. So we're actually doing it in order. So the closest to the letter is the highest.
Yes, that is.
Okay.
There's some flexibility there, so we can go back and adjust that at the end.
Okay, that's a good idea. Tiffany Garcia says S plus.
That is. I wish I could agree with you.
Very close.
Next, we have the second generation of the Blacktron. So these have, much like the first generation of the Futuron with the black and white, second generation of the Blacktron have a much similar vibe. They have the trans neon visors as well, and is very striking against the lime green on their torso. These guys are clearly not as worried about being seen. They're much more established than the first generation of the Blacktron. They have many more bases, much more compact and well-designed technology. They've clearly managed out things. However, I don't believe it is as intimidating as the first generation of the Blacktron. So that has to take away at least a tier, in my opinion.
I definitely agree. So looking at somewhere between A and B, maybe more heavily towards A, but in my opinion, but we'll see what the audience has to say.
Very well.
The link for that, I'll post it now. And we'll see what people have to say about Blacktron Generation 2. Do you think it's as good as the first generation or a little bit lower? Here is the link. Everyone cast your vote now. You see the results so far. Yeah, they look more peaceful, someone's saying. Early votes, 1S, 1B. Oh, we get another S in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 2S, 2B, averaging out. That seems to be averaging it to an A so far. Oh, now we got an S minus. S, B, and S minus. One more refresh. And I think that's our final numbers.
All right.
So where do you think that puts us averaged out?
I believe the average for that would be an A, if not a B.
That sounds about right to me, yeah, closer to A.
All right, we'll put it at the back of A.
So lower end of A. Is there any way we
Alright.
can get like something on top, like a banner or something that says like higher towards the left, lower towards the right? I'm not sure we can do that in Tier Maker in the future.
No, I believe it's fairly straightforward. You can take that by inference.
Okay, awesome.
So next we have the second generation of the Space Police. They've clearly segregated from the Futuron. So they have a much more clear style now. They are the first organization to incorporate green into their uniforms. So they are very striking in their style. It is very clear when you're dealing with a space police officer now as opposed to anyone else. So they have a very strong appearance now. However, I do believe that the way the torsos are printed, especially on the officer, it doesn't quite strike as much because it's printed green on the front while the sides are white. So that is a little bit distracting from the uniform.
Definitely agree. So get some merit points being the first one to venture into green, but definitely some style choices that could have been better.
I agree. I believe that the leader, Captain Magenta, which is with the red pauldrons, has a more striking black vest, and it has a very nice style to it. It has little siren lights on each side. It has the little SP standing for Space Police, a very cool half-open zipper. So I believe that one will go much higher. But for now, let's see what everyone thinks of the standard officer.
Awesome. Here's the link. What does everyone think for Space Police Officer number 2? Post the link in the chat. Everyone cast your votes now. What do you mean by that, Kawhi? Do we vote in the poll? Does what we vote in the live chat go the poll? No, only what you do in the poll. I'm not adding in votes manually from the chat. So make sure you vote in the poll, not just the chat. Where should I rank it? I'm still trying to decide. Let's take a look at the results so far. So far, we got an even split of A, B, and C. Give it a refresh. B took the lead.
That evens out to B. I believe we're looking at our second B.
We had 5 people who asked, so I'm going to give it like one more refresh just to check. And looks like it's holding at B.
Very well.
Awesome.
Next, we have Captain Magenta. We've already discussed him, so I'll go ahead and post the link. I believe this one is at least one tier higher, but due to the lack of because the vest doesn't wrap all the way around, I don't think it's any higher than an A personally.
I think I'm in agreement with that. The vet arm on the shoulder there is definitely a little bit more of an improvement on the appearance, but not too much higher. Awesome. We got the link for that. Let's see if the audience agrees with us. Captain Magenta. It's an interesting name choice for him too, Magenta, considering he's not really wearing very much magenta.
It is a very curious name choice. But he may have just had that name growing up and it just stuck even when he started to take on the green uniform. So
That could be it. Early votes, you got 1 for S plus, 1 for A. Let's refresh. Oh, it's evened out to S plus, S, and A.
hmm.
People seem to think he's a little bit higher than we had him. Anyone else want to get their vote in?
I very much believe that this is an A. However, I can be swayed.
One more person said S plus, so we'll say
S. It's not an S plus. It is not quite up to the Blacktron, but Blacktron Generation 1. But I will concede that it is better than most on the A. So I'll go ahead and move it to the back of S.
the back of S. Okay. Awesome. So your opinion minutes to sway the professor to be a little lenient, move him up to S.
Yes, I am a man of science. However, I do listen to opinions of fellow scientists and researchers. So
Hellcat says it's changed. Got to move on. I'll take a look. We got one more additional vote for A. So now it's 2S plus 2A, 1S. Does that change anything? Do you still think we're holding at an S?
I think we're holding at an S. I don't believe we can justify putting Captain Magenta ahead of the Blacktron or moving it behind any of the other classic space figures. I believe he's right where he needs to be.
Okay. Well, we'll try to hold a little bit longer on the poll, but if you really think about it, the polls are kind of like not needed anyway because the professor already knows the answer.
Indeed. There's some cases where I'm not quite sure. I'll have a general leaning. However, there's a general consensus in the scientific community where all these characters belong.
Yes, the vote is mainly for his amusement so he can judge you. He's not really taking it too seriously.
No. This is very important research. It's very important to see how other people view these figures.
That's very fair. Awesome. So we're going to give him an S then. We're going to move on to the next segment. So I believe is that Ice Planet?
Yes, Ice Planet 2002. This is one of the most iconic 90s themes that LEGO ever produced. They have a trans orange for the first time in a LEGO set. It's very striking against the cold of the planet they're on. All their ships have trans orange visors and white and blue. It's a very striking color scheme, and it makes them easily recognizable when they're out in the open. And it also keeps them the heat of their uniforms keeps them nice and warm from the cold extremities they encounter on the sub-zero temperatures of the planet.
Definitely. I love how the Ice Planet has all those translucent red pieces on their vehicles. It always stands out.
Yes.
More orangey, but yeah. Awesome. We got the link to that one.
I do. There isn't too much to say about this general astronaut, so I believe personally this one is a very strong contender for an A. The logo looks very similar to the classic space logo with ice on top of the Arctic region of the planet. So I believe this one is, while not quite as organized or simple as the classic space or the Futuron, this is still a very polished uniform.
Definitely.
So
seems to think.
My suggestion would be around an A. Do you have the link for that one?
I think I posted it, didn't I? Yep, link's in the chat.
Very well.
See what people have to say about this. Early votes, so a three-way tie so far between S plus, A, and B. See if a few more votes come in. I'll give it a little longer because we seem to always cut it off like the last vote. We don't quite wait long enough.
Very well.
We see the link. You can't vote. Is the link not working, Rubik's Cube? It should work on a phone or a computer. Actually, what you could do, because we have one spare vote with the professor, if you want to just tell us what your vote would be, Rubik's, we can add to the poll manually.
Very well.
What would your vote be, Rubik's? Tell us and I'm professor at it.
So we have one S plus, one A, and one B. This could be a tiebreaker.
Refresh. Oh, B pulled ahead.
Hmm.
And the Rubik's, you can tell us the vote? Okay, it's got us muted right now. No problem. Thanks for having us on the computer nonetheless. We appreciate it.
All right. This is a
Hold on.
very confusing result because I believe this is slightly above a B, but at the tail end of A. So we do have an S plus, we have an A.
Definitely bumping the B's up.
So yes, B is a little bit vacant. So I suppose we could put this character in B. We have other characters which are more distinct for the Ice Planet theme, who I believe might be a little bit higher. So
Definitely. So our final decision?
what do you think? Top of B or bottom of A?
I'll say top of B. Unless you
All right.
disagree.
Next, we have Dr. Kelvin, who is one of the only scientists on the Ice Planet 2002 expedition team. So she had to adapt all of the technology to be able to handle the sub-zero climate, to do all the research on the heat crystals that they mine out. I believe she also invented the transparent orange chainsaw that we all love so much. So this one is at least an S, if not an S plus. If you say anything below B, you need to reconsider things.
Definitely. That chainsaw is very iconic. Everyone wants that piece. So here's the link now, so everyone can cast their vote. I will cast mine as well. For Dr. Kelvin. Let's see. For results, so one S, one A. People are in agreement. He's pretty high. Give it a refresh. Still waiting for some more votes to come in. Everyone got the link okay? One S, one A. There we go. S plus S and A. It's averaging to an S so far. Oh, there come two more votes. S plus and S tied at 2 votes each, and 1 vote for A.
That is the general range we're looking for this character. I believe this should go at Commander Kelvin is clearly a genius, but she's not quite up to the iconic level that the other characters are. So I believe that she does deserve more recognition. So I'd put her either the top of S or the bottom of S plus.
Definitely. It seems like chat seems to agree that it's at least on the higher end of S.
Okay. Top of S.
Top of S sounds good to me.
Next, we have Commander Cold. He is the leader of the Ice Planet 2002 expedition. He has a very imposing white mustache, and he has gold printed on his belt and pauldrons. So he is a very striking figure and clearly someone who knows what he's doing. So because of all this man's style, he clearly has a sense of authority. I think he's between an A and an S.
Definitely. So you think he's above the last Ice Planet figure or below, in your opinion?
Absolutely not above. No, not above. Not above Dr. Kelvin.
So it'd be a lower S or maybe a higher A. Awesome. So the link's in the chat now. What do you guys think for Commander Cold? Let's take a look. Early votes. Early votes. So a split, 1A, 1C.
C.
Someone doesn't like him. Up 2 A's, 1C.
Commander Cold can be a bit temperamental, so I can understand that. However, I believe for the man's sheer style and competence, it's at least an A.
Very fair. Maybe they're doing C for cold.
That is very true. C for cold.
Still holding steady. 2A, 1C. Everyone got the link okay? Make sure to vote, everyone. The professor does value every one of your opinions. Getting a few less results in this one than the previous poll. Some people seem to not have opinion on it.
So that averages out to an A.
One more refresh. Yep, holding steady. So we're going to give him an A.
I'd put him somewhere in the middle of A then.
Sounds fair, you know.
Probably right behind here.
Sounds good, splitting them up.
Very well. Next we have the Explorians. Now the Explorians are the next civilian faction. They have the fastest ships and they explore beyond the galaxy. So they have a much more intricate design for technology. However, they don't have as many scientists. They're more of an explorer group, just like the first generation of the white classic spacemen. So first we have a standard astronaut. He doesn't have any special equipment. He just has the standard badge. It's a very nice badge. It's a planet with a chevron, an arrow pointing up. So it's a very strong iconography here. While it's not the most iconic 90s Lego theme, it is a very practical and very sturdy and very useful suit idea.
I'm thinking closer to a B on this one.
B.
For
the standard Explorer, I don't disagree.
Awesome. Let's see if chat agrees or disagrees.
A moment.
Let's see. Do I have the link? Let's see.
Yeah.
Awesome. Posting the link for everyone right now. What do you guys think? Exploring an astronaut, standard. I got my vote in. Early results. Take a look. Got 1A, 1B. Refresh again. Still holding steady. Everyone gets your votes in now. Oh, now we got, nope, still the same. Everyone got the link okay? The audience doesn't seem to have an opinion on this one. Oh, there we go. One more came in. 2 for A, 1 for B. I'll give it a few more seconds so you can get a larger sample size.
Large sample sizes are very important. I think I'm leaning towards the back of A for this character.
That sounds fair to me. Let's see. Oh, no, we got a tie. 2A, 2B. Seems to get closer to what you said, yeah.
Let's move them to the top of B then.
So top of B, I'm thinking. Awesome. Who's the next figure we got?
Next we have the Exploring Deep Space Astronaut. This one is clearly meant for a lot more heavy lifting. He has a much thicker pipe leading up to his helmet for an extra air supply. So he's clearly meant to survive for longer periods of time in the vacuum of space or whatever pressure environment he finds himself in. He has a headset and a very strong visor. It's a completely new visor mold for this figure. So I believe this is definitely above a B for just the uniqueness of that helmet, but I can't say it is more than an S. I'd say it's between an A and an S.
Between A and S, that's definitely fair. And that unique visor mold, have we seen much of that since? I'm pretty sure I've seen it in some other things.
We've seen this helmet. It also appears in one of the later themes. It appears in some of the more traditional space sets that were released in the late 90s. So
Awesome. Everyone
I
cast
believe
your
it
vote
may have
now.
also appeared in some scuba sets, although I am not 100% certain about that.
So what do you guys think for the Exploring Deep Space Astronaut? Early results, so unanimous A for the first two votes. Anyone else want to get your vote in? A little long for to find the link. Three A's. So far, unanimous for A.
All right, that puts him straight in the middle.
One more vote came in for an S.
S. I was going to put him behind Commander Cold, but I'm going to put him ahead now.
Awesome.
I'll even put him ahead of the red. No, not quite.
That seems fair for sure.
Next, we have the Explorian leader. He is in charge of the expedition beyond the galaxy. So he has his logo emblazoned right on his shirt. Even though he has the new helmet, he's clearly meant for to stay on the bridge of the Explorian ships and outposts. So the uniform doesn't quite look as iconic. The emblem is a little bit too large to be able to appreciate the style. And there aren't many other decoration or laurels for this figure, so it's not clear what all he has accomplished to become the leader. So I have to say this is a low A, mid B, maybe. That's my opinion on it. I don't have
Definitely seems
a very impressive logo, but I can't say it is well executed in this uniform.
Definitely seems fair. Hellcat says S needs some love. I'm not sure if this one's an S, but hopefully, yeah, we get some more S ones coming in. So we got the link for that, and I'll put it in the chat now. And we'll see what you guys think. The Exploring leader. Everyone cast your votes now. What do you think of the Exploring leader? Early results. We got 1A, 1B. Still holding steady. Everyone else cast your votes now. Hold ahead, 2 for B.
2 for B.
Give it another few seconds to see if anyone else wants to get a vote in. Still holding steady, blue in the lead. Do it one more fresh. Everyone got the link who wants it? Oh, one more came in, so we have 1 for S, 1 for A, and 2 for B.
That puts it slightly ahead, so I'll say that is the top of the B tier.
Top of the B tier?
I'd personally put him slightly lower, but I believe that's fair. Top of B.
Definitely. I'll take one more refresh to be sure. Yep, holding steady. Awesome.
Very well. Next we have Android. This is the first robot minifigure we've ever seen in LEGO. She has a little siren on top, a little light bulb, so you can tell what she's processing at any time. Her helmet, her head piece itself is transparent, the first printed transparent head piece. So you can see all the circuitry printed on her face. She has a smile to simulate the smiles of all the space figures up to this point. So I believe that this figure, she has a lot of strength on her hard drive. She can do a lot of computations. She does a lot of calculations for all the different travels, for exploring. So I believe this is a solid S.
That seems fair, especially the legacy behind it. The first robot Lego figure.
Very much
First of
so.
many. What do you guys think? How much
This-
clout does it deserve for
This
being
is
the first Lego
absolutely a
robot?
solid S.
Awesome. Everyone cast your vote now. How much clout do you think it deserves for being the first Lego robot? Lego robot minifigure, I should say. Android. Clever name, too. Points for that.
That
Well,
is,
cheesy,
they were
clever.
the Explorians weren't the most creative bunch. However, they did they did their job very well. So
Definitely left-brain individuals, more logic-based than creative.
is that a D for droid?
2 for S, 1 for D. Someone really does not like Anne.
It could just be a D for droid.
It could
Or
be.
it's just because the name is a pun, which is fair, honestly. It is not the most inventive name.
Awesome. Still holding steady. 2S, 1D. Oh, we've got a vote in for S+. That bumps it up a bit.
Indeed.
The question is, how heavily do we weight that 1D? Because that brings it way down as opposed to those 3 S's. It is outnumbered, though.
I believe that the D was not submitted in good faith. I believe it was meant to be humorous. Therefore, I suggest we remove the extremity from, yes, D for droid, I told you. So I believe we should bump this up to a solid S, at least on the same level as the Blacktron one.
Sounds fair to me. We had a
So I
question
will.
in the chat as well.
What do you think of the classic spaceman from the set Lego Movie 2? Lego has produced, re-released various classic space sets over the years, and they always had the newer visors that we see on all of the new sets throughout the 90s. They retired the very rectangular helmet. However, the Lego Movie 2 brought back that helmet. It wasn't the cracked one like Benny. So even though it's a little bit thicker, so it's harder to break, I believe those are very strong. However, I do not differentiate those in this Golden Era set minifigures.
Awesome. The link for that, and we can.
I'm going to put this up here.
One more refresh, just because I still have it up. Yep, still holding the same.
I'm thinking right behind Blacktron, if not one ahead.
Tough choice. That sounds about fair. Maybe right behind him. Yeah.
Agreed. Next, we have Andy Droid. Now, one moment. The story behind Andy Droid is very similar to Android. These were sibling units designed to function in pairs. However, the faction we're about to talk about, the Spyrius, managed to capture this unit and modify its programming for their own purposes. So that they changed his color scheme, they gave him a new helmet, and they reprogrammed him to help them extract more technology from the other factions in LEGO space. So we have a very striking color scheme, red and black, very menacing, a trans-clear head, trans-clear helmet, which is very unique. It is a very intimidating character, but it doesn't have the cleanness of Android. So I'd say back of S, middle of A.
So you put it behind Android, in your opinion?
It's a very striking look, but I do not believe this is the superior model. The Spyrace programming is not as efficient. It is more hackneyed, so it is not as impressive of a unit.
Our results have 2 for A, up 3 for A. Seems pretty unanimous so far. Anyone else want to get their opinion? You think Andy's better than Anne? Where does Andrew rank compared to everyone else so far? Oh, one person said S, bumping up a little higher.
All right. Right now I'm leaning towards behind the black and red classic spaceman for Andy Droid. If there's no disputes there, I will move him up to A.
One more refresh, holding steady. 3 A's, 1 S. Sounds good.
Very good.
Awesome. And who are we on to next?
One moment. Next we have the Spirius astronaut. The Spirius faction, as I briefly explained, is a piratic faction, much similar to the early generation of the Blacktron. They have assimilated technology from all the other LEGO space themes that they encounter. They steal their technology, they incorporate it into their own to help them better extract technology from and build stronger defenses so that they can have the most impressive technology of any space theme. So they have a blue, red, and black color scheme, trans neon green visor. So I believe this is a very nice design, but it is not nearly as intimidating as some of the other characters we've seen, especially Blacktron 1.
Definitely seems fair to me. Seems like there's a lot more fondness people have for like LEGO themes the older they are. Do you think that's going to hold steady as we go? Like the further down we go, the more lower the rankings get?
I believe it's a mixed bag. For example, we saw certain characters like certain ice planet characters fare better than other ones. Some of the design choices in the late 90s were a little bit more questionable, and that was true through the early 2000s as well. There were a lot of great figures, a lot of somewhat questionable design choices, but
Definitely
yes.
fair. Everyone cast your vote now for the Spirius astronaut. Let's see where we're at. Early results show an even split of B and C. Anyone else have an opinion on the Spirius astronaut? Still holding steady. Give a few more seconds for a refresh. Not even have an opinion on this one. Everyone got the link okay?
What did we have again?
So far, it's just 1B and 1C.
1B and 1C. I can't disagree. I really admire the texture of the uniform. It's a very powerful looking breastplate. It looks like it can take a lot of laser fire before it breaks, but the color scheme does suffer in the process.
One more vote came in.
I'd say
B
low
pulled
B.
ahead.
I'd say low B, high C.
That seems fair. B's just pull ahead.
Let's move it in C just to fill things out.
Okay, maybe the higher end of C slightly.
Yes. For the next one we have is the Spirius Chief. So
Awesome.
He's the leader of this operation, this faction, and he's the mastermind behind everything. He knows how everybody's technology works. So he is clearly a very intelligent leader. He may have even been former Blacktron. We don't have much information on where the Spirius came from, but that is merely a hypothesis. There is no scientific research to back that up.
Yes, do not quote him on that.
So this is the Spirius Chief. He has a lot of stubble, much like the early pirate sets. So he is clearly not this kind of person to be messed with.
So where do you guys think the Spirius Chief should go? A little higher than the last one? A little lower? What do you think? take a look at early results. So far, unanimously a C. Anyone else got an opinion, the Spyrius Chief? Still holding steady, waiting for those new votes. Possum said, I think he is just Brickbeard too. Why would you think that? The pirate, I guess? Space Brickbeard.
It is a unique mold to keep in mind. The other pirate sets had a bit more stubble, a little bit more of a unkept haircut. This one is a little bit more spacey and clean, but not too much.
Still holding steady. Anyone else trying to get their vote in? Still unanimously a C. No new votes are coming yet. I'll give it a few more seconds. Possum said he's a pirate of piratey stubble.
That is a very accurate assessment, very astute.
Awesome. One last refresh. See if anyone's trying to get in there.
Even though the first Spyrius had some Bs, I believe we should put the Spyrius Chief ahead just because of his clear intelligence over this operation.
That sounds fair to me. So put him above his subordinate there.
Agreed. Next, we have the Unitron. Now, the Unitron arose in part due to the Spyrius invasion. The Spyrius have been exerting more control, and the Space Police being meant to handle more interplanetary disputes, not actual military confrontations. The Unitron fill that void with more martial designs. They've clearly learned a lot from the Space Police, even the Ice Planet and Explorians. However, I feel like they have a very strong torso. They have their body printing looks like they could take a lot of damage before it breaks.
Definitely.
So I would say that the standard soldier with his headset to communicate, he is a strong to high B probably. This is definitely not a soldier you'd want to mess with. He also has yellow, so clearly that signifies a lot of intelligence as well. So it may even be an A. Just saying.
Awesome. We'll see if the chat's in agreement. The link to that one.
One moment.
Awesome. So everyone, cast your vote now. And the more people who get voting, the more accurate data the professor can collect. So what do you guys think of a Unitron astronaut? Everyone cast your votes now. Let's see, early voting shows 1A, 1B.
That's respectable.
Still holding steady. Anyone else got an opinion on the Unitron astronaut?
I suggest we move it to a high B.
Awesome. I'll give it one last refresh, see if anyone's trying to get a last vote in. Awesome. Seems like chat doesn't have any disputes.
Very
We're
well.
in agreement. Awesome. Getting near the end of our list here. I like how we got like an even pyramid shape here.
It's filling out, I'll say that.
Definitely. A lot of A's.
Very much. All of the space themes have a very strong appearance. I doubt we'll see them from our other reviews of other figures, our other tier lists. However, this is going to be one of our strongest we're ever going to cover.
We got one more vote, by the way, 2A, 1B, if that changes anything.
We'll put him just above Blacktron 2.
Okay, bump him up a little bit. Awesome.
Next, we have, there we are, the Unitron Chief. Although it's a little bit difficult to see, he has a visor printed on, so he has sort of implants, so he can see. He has a silver visor, so he can see the battlefield very clearly. He can make calculations very easily. It has a heads-up display so that he can collect information from other areas. I believe it's even hooked up to his brain directly. That way he can communicate much faster than any other soldier on the battlefield.
Awesome. Everyone give you a vote on
The Unitron Commander.
Unitron Commander. I think it's above the ordinary trooper. You guys thinking? The last, let's see what early voting says. You guys think the Unitron Commander? Early results. You got 1A, 1B. Someone setting up B in the chat. Make sure you put that vote in the poll too. A pulled ahead. 2 A's, 1B. People are fond of it. Let's see. Still holding steady. 2 A's, 1B for Unitron Commander. A few more seconds before I refresh.
I suggest we put him right ahead of his partner.
We got one last vote in the last minute for S+.
S+.
Somebody really loves him.
He's clearly a very intelligent, very scientifically minded figure, and I am inclined to boost him up above the other Futuron for that reason alone. Does that look fair? Middle of A.
Middle of A. Looks fair to me.
Very well. Next we have the RoboForce.
Awesome.
The RoboForce is one of the last 90s Lego space themes. It doesn't actually have any spaceships. They have more of mechanical vehicle designs. So mecha, large robots, not quite unlike Exoforce. However, it was clear the technology hadn't developed to that point yet. So they have circuit printing on their torso. They have the Explorian helmet mold in transparent, which is very interesting. However, I do not believe this is nearly as coherent as we've seen in any of the other things. So I believe we may be looking at our first D or even an F with
very low.
I apologize, but in my scientific expertise, I have to say there is too much going on here. It is too chaotic of a character to be able to make any determinations as to his level of competence or expertise.
That's very fair. Going to be so nice. So everyone give your opinion now. Everyone agree with the professor? You're going to be as harsh on the RoboForce Red Astronaut? Wait for some early results to come in. Everyone cast your vote now. Yep, the link's right there. You don't have it? Let me repost it. For a RoboForce Red Astronaut. Early results. We got unanimous on D so far.
D. I'm glad we have a very informed.
Uh-oh.
What?
You spoke too soon. We have one troll bumping it up to an S.
And S for
simply terrible.
That wasn't what I was going for. However, I am inclined to agree with the majority and say this is an absolute D. I guess I'm in charge now. So until there you are. I lost you for a minute, Your Majesty.
Yep, I hit refresh on the wrong thing instead of the poll again.
Very well. I will move him up to our first D.
And one last thing to see. We actually have some more trolls adding S's.
Are they? It's definitely it's not an S. It's not an S plus. It's not even an A. Come on. Don't be preposterous. This is clearly the inferior of all of these characters. This isn't even a C plus.
I think they're trying to troll.
They're polluting our data set. This is a D. There is no questions about this.
They disgrace science.
Very much so. You have destroyed this data set. I am astonished by your lack of integrity.
You were banned from science for 1 year.
Honestly, I'd bar them from ever re-entering the scientific community. If these people were in my lab, I would throw them out right now.
We have a confession in the chat, I think. Here is the perpetrator.
Lay. Honestly, I can't believe you. Look, I'm going to have to reconsider our collaborations for the future. If you're going to continue acting like this, I'll look the other way this once because you've been so reliable in the past. However, if you persist in this behavior, I will have to kick you out of the lab. Just so we're clear. Let's go on to the final one. I don't want any more funny business. This one is clearly, maybe it may not be a D. This one's clearly more intelligent. He has the cybernetic visor. So he clearly has a partly cybernetic brain, most likely. So he can process things a lot faster. He's clearly the most competent of anyone on the RoboForce and probably designed most of the RoboForce vehicles working with the technology he had, even though they're not very impressive by today's standards. It was very unique technology for its time. So I will say, however atrocious the design, it is still a low to high C.
Low to high C. And we get the ice planet in C currently, correct?
Those are the Spirius.
Spirus, okay. I can't quite see on my screen. That's why we get ice planet higher up. We got one in S and another in B. Awesome. So let me post the link now for everyone to have and see your opinions. What do you guys think? So the RoboForce Yellow Astronaut. Early results.
What are our results so far?
Oh, here's the link again. Someone's asking for it.
Are there any more data extremities?
1D, 1C, so.
Okay, this is respectable.
1B.
1B, huh.
Oh, evenly split. S, B, C, D. There's the troll again.
Lay, what did I tell you?
There's the one who said S. It wasn't Lay.
Oh.
Your confession.
Okay, Lay, you can stay in my lab for the moment. Red, you will not be permitted in my lab at any time.
Banned from all future field trips. Your whole school.
I shall therefore put the yellow RoboForce at the low end of C, or should I put it at the top? I'll put him in the middle.
That seems fair, in between the two.
I am open to new perspectives, Lay. Some perspectives are just wrong.
It's very fair.
You have to, however, it is important to explore them to know why they're wrong. That is very important in the scientific community to disprove the ludicrous assumptions like Yellow Spaceman being anything below an S or RoboForce being anything above a C. Just so we're clear.
Very fair and very clear.
Now, we have our full list for our very first BrickTier. We have, of course, the yellow scientists at the top of our hierarchy. Next, we have the brilliant Dr. Kelvin at the top of S. We have Mtron, the blue security spaceman, the white explorer spaceman. Then we have the first generation of Blacktron in their classic jumpsuits. We have Android, a very brilliant cybernetic being. We have Captain Magenta, the black classic spaceman, yellow classic spaceman, Andy Droid, the Explorian deep space explorer. We have Commander Cold, the Unitron chief, the Futuron blue explorer, the Futuron black spy, the Space Police 1, Unitron Grunt, the Blacktron 2, and so on. I believe this is a very comprehensive list, and I believe it stands to show that of all of these themes, the yellow scientists are the superior, and RoboForce is just not good. It's not good.
Awesome. It seems like our audience is overall pretty intelligent. They agreed with our initial assumptions.
There's clearly some knowledge that still has to be gained. There's clearly some people who are not in their right frame of mind. However, overall, I believe that this is you have a very intelligent group in your kingdom, Professor John Brick.
Well,
and this was a fantastic opportunity, and I look forward to future collaborations with you in the future.
Awesome. And it's been an honor having your expertise here with us today, and look forward to seeing you in the future in our weekly show.
Of course. This was very stimulating.
Have we decided what our next theme we're going to rank is going to be? We're going to go on more into space, or we're going to jump to something else?
I believe we should move on to classic pirates next. However, I am open to exploring the other fantasy Legoland themes, such as Castle. We will be exploring one of those next week.
Awesome. So let us know in the Discord, guys, if you have an opinion on that. We'll weigh your opinions on that. And also, we'll download this tier maker list for the results, and we'll post it in there as well, probably the announcements channel if anyone wants to take a look. Yeah, thanks for tuning in and joining us. I hope you liked the first show. Let us know if you have any feedback. Is there anything else you want to say, Professor, before we sign off?
No. I just wish your audience to have fun and play well.
Awesome. See you guys soon.
Goodbye.